the mist arrives before the rain. It does not come all at once. It does not rush over the rooftops or tumble down the narrow lanes, or cover Willow Town in one sudden white breath. It begins in the gentlest possible way, as if the river itself has sighed in its sleep. First, a pale softness rises from the water beneath the old stone bridge. It gathers close to the surface, drifting between the slow reflections of lanterns, touching each small ripple with a quiet silver hand. The canal, which usually remembers every light and every window, begins to forget the shapes above it. One lantern becomes a warm blur, then another, then the dark line of a moored boat becomes only a shadow, floating without edges. Along the riverbank, the tea shop is already closed for the night. Its wooden shutters are fastened. Its little sign creaks once in the damp air, then grows still. A few drops of water cling to the roof tiles, waiting for the rain that has not yet arrived. They tremble there, round and patient, holding tiny upside-down pictures of the town. The mist rises higher. It moves past the sleeping flower boxes on the window sills, where late petals have folded themselves into small cups. It brushes the bakery door, the post office steps, the blue bicycle leaning beneath the awning, and the row of empty chairs outside the tea shop. Each thing it touches seems to let go of one hard edge. Each corner becomes rounder. Each shadow becomes kinder. A narrow alley that seemed long in the afternoon now looks short and harmless. A stack of baskets by the market wall becomes only a soft brown shape. Even the cobblestones, usually shiny and uneven after rain, seem to sink into the same white quiet. The mist does not erase Willow Town. It only asks the town to rest from being so clearly itself. The mist rises higher. It touches the stones of the bridge. It curls around the railings. It slips through the spaces where children place their hands during the day, and where old women rest baskets of herbs in the afternoon sun. It winds itself around the bridge posts as gently as yarn around a spool. Nothing is frightened by it. The lanterns do not go out. The houses do not close their eyes more tightly. Even the river does not complain. Willow Town is used to soft weather, to quiet rain, to evenings when the world becomes smaller and closer and easier to hold. But this mist is different. It is not only weather. It is the kind of mist that arrives when the day has carried too many thoughts, when wishes have wandered too far from their windows, and when dreams begin looking for the places where they belong. At the edge of town, a baker turns over in sleep. A child hugs a blanket closer beneath the chin. A kettle cools on a stove. Somewhere, an old clock lifts its hand from 1 minute to the next, but the sound is softened before it can reach the street. Tick, then almost nothing. Tick, disappearing into the mist. The rooftops fade. The canal fades. The little boats fade. And the old stone bridge, which has crossed the river for longer than anyone can remember, waits beneath the pale, drifting air, as if it knows that tonight someone may need to cross it very slowly. During the day, the old bridge in Willow Town is very ordinary. Children run across it while counting riverboats. Tea sellers rest baskets beside its stone railings. Old women sit nearby, drying herbs beneath the sunlight, shaking small leaves into cloth bags, and telling stories that begin before breakfast and end long after supper. The bridge has heard all kinds of ordinary things. It has heard the wheels of carts. It has heard sandals slapping against stone after summer rain. It has heard laughter, yawns, market bells, and the soft clink of teacups being carried home in wicker baskets. In daylight, no one thinks much about the bridge. It is simply there, a dependable curve of stone over the slow river, away from one side of town to the other. People cross it with shopping lists in their pockets, umbrellas beneath their arms, and errands folded inside their minds. But at night, when the mist grows thick enough, the bridge changes. Not in a way that could be measured, not in a way that anyone could prove in the morning. It becomes longer, quieter, stranger. The stones seem to remember places they have never been. The railings stretch away into whiteness. The lamps at either end turn soft and round, as if their flames are wrapped in wool. When someone steps onto the bridge on a night like this, the town behind them becomes very far away, and the town ahead of them seems to wait inside a dream. Some people in Willow Town say the bridge is only a bridge. Others say that when the mist covers the river, the bridge becomes a passage for things that have lost their way in sleep. A thought that was too tired to finish. A wish that forgot which window it came from. A dream that slipped from its pillow before it was ready. These things, being light and quiet, do not know how to call for help. They do not knock on doors. They do not ring bells. They simply wander in the mist, changing shape as they go, hoping to find a warm place that feels familiar. Willow has heard this story many times. Willow is the orange cat who lives above the little bookshop near the canal. During the day, Willow sleeps in a square of sunlight between the window and the shelves of old maps. At night, Willow often watches the town as it becomes softer. The cat knows the language of floorboards, raindrops, lantern glass, and dreams that are too shy to speak. Tonight, from the bookshop window, Willow sees the bridge becoming longer. The far side has disappeared completely. The near side glows faintly beneath the mist, and between them, the stones of the bridge seem to wait, one after another, like slow breaths. Willow blinks once, mist presses gently against the glass. Somewhere beyond the bridge, a lantern flickers, then steadies, and Willow understands that this is not an ordinary night, and that the bridge has not changed for no reason. Tonight, something is lost upon it. Willow's ear twitches. The orange cat slowly opens one eye, then the other. For a moment, Willow simply listens. The room above the bookshop is very still. Books stand in dark rows along the walls. A blue teapot rests beside an empty cup. The little stove has gone quiet, but it still holds a trace of warmth, the way a kind word stays in a room after it has been spoken. Outside, water drips from the roof. Drop, pause, drop. The lantern beside the books flickers gently, making the shadows on the ceiling rise and fall as though they are breathing in their sleep. The mist presses against the window, turning the glass pale and soft. Willow can no longer see the tea shop, or the lantern post, or even the nearest bend of the canal. But Willow can hear. Cats are good at hearing small things. A beetle beneath a leaf, a spoon settling in a drawer, the sigh of a dream before it has decided whether to stay or drift away. At first, the sound is almost nothing, a tiny step, then silence, another tiny step. Then the mist seems to hold its breath. The footsteps are not heavy enough to belong to a person. They are not quick enough to belong to a mouse. They are not sharp enough to belong to rain. They are soft, uncertain, and wandering, like someone trying to remember where they were going after waking in the middle of a thought. Willow rises from the cushion, slowly, no hurry. The cat stretches one front paw, then the other, and arches in the warm darkness of the room. Then Willow jumps lightly from the chair to the floor. The boards do not creak. They know Willow's feet too well. At the door, Willow pauses. The footsteps come again, far away yet near, outside yet somehow already inside the quiet of the room. Willow nudges the door open with a soft push of the head and slips down the narrow stairs of the bookshop. The lower room smells faintly of paper, rain, dried lavender, and old wood. The front door is closed, but a thin ribbon of mist has found its way beneath it. Willow places one paw on the threshold. The town beyond is white. The canal is hidden. The bridge is only a pale rising shape, waiting in the fog. Again, the tiny footsteps sound from somewhere ahead. This time, Willow hears something else inside them. Not fear, not exactly. More like confusion, more like a small dream trying to walk home, but unable to remember which direction home might be. Willow steps into the mist. The door closes softly behind the cat, and the night, being kind, makes room. At first, Willow sees nothing, only mist. White above, white below, white on the stones of the bridge, white in the spaces where the river should have been. The world has become a quiet bowl, filled with pale breath. Willow walks slowly toward the sound. The bridge stones are damp beneath each paw. They hold the cold of the night, but not harshly. The cold is soft, like water kept in a clay cup. Somewhere below, the river moves, though it can no longer be seen. Its sound is muffled and round, as if it too has been wrapped in mist. Then Willow sees it, a small shape standing alone inside the fog. Not fully solid, not fully real. The little shape changes every few moments. First it looks like a tiny paper lantern, folded from pale yellow light. Then it becomes a small umbrella, no bigger than a teacup, opening and closing without rain. Then it becomes a bird made of mist, with wings too soft to fly. Then it is a little boat, rocking in the air as if it has forgotten where the water is. The shape turns slowly inside the mist, lost. Willow sits down a few steps away. The cat does not pounce, does not call, does not ask, "Why are you here?" or "Where do you belong?" Questions can be too heavy for lost things. Sometimes, when something is small and confused, the first kindness is simply to sit near it and let it know that it has been found. The little dream trembles. Its edges ripple, becoming a folded letter, then a candle flame, then the shadow of a hand reaching toward a window. It seems to be trying many shapes, hoping one of them will feel familiar. Willow blinks slowly. The dream blinks back, although it has no eyes. For a while they remain together on the misty bridge, saying nothing. The town behind them is hidden. The far side of the bridge is hidden. Even the sky is hidden. But Willow is not hidden from the dream, and the dream is no longer entirely alone. After a little while, the dream makes the smallest sound, not a word, more like the beginning of a sigh. It changes again, becoming a child's paper star, then a silver fish, then a cup of tea with no steam. Each shape lasts only a moment before dissolving softly into the next. Willow tilts its head. The dream is not trying to become many things. It is trying to remember one thing. It is trying to remember the person who dreamed it. Somewhere in Willow Town, someone is sleeping restlessly. Somewhere a brow is furrowed beneath a blanket. Somewhere a thought has turned too many times in the dark, and a dream has slipped loose from its home. Willow stands. The little dream quivers, as if afraid the cat will leave. But Willow only turns toward the bridge and lifts its tail. There is a way, the gesture seems to say. Not a fast way, not a forced way, a soft way. The dream grows still and waits. Willow does not rush. Willow does not pull. Willow does not point toward a destination the dream cannot see. Instead, the orange cat lowers its tail gently against the stone bridge. Tap. The first soft sound echoes through the mist. It is not loud. It is not bright. It does not break the night open. It simply moves outward, like a pebble dropped into quiet water. Below the bridge, the river begins to slow. The fog shifts softly. Then, beneath Willow's paws, one stone warms with a faint golden glow. Not enough to chase the mist away, only enough to show the next step. The little dream leans toward the light. For a moment, it becomes a lantern again, as if recognizing a language it once knew. Its pale edges steady, the trembling becomes quieter. Willow takes one step forward. The little dream remains where it is for a moment. It does not trust the bridge yet. It does not trust the fog. Perhaps it does not even trust its own small brightness. So Willow waits, with one paw lifted and the other three resting quietly on the stone. Waiting is a kind of light, too. It tells the lost thing that the path will not disappear just because it needs another breath. At last, the dream moves. Not far, only the smallest distance. But it moves toward the warm stone, and that is enough. Tap. Another stone glows. This one is barely brighter than the first, but it is enough. The light does not demand, it invites. It does not say, hurry. It says, here. The dream follows. One soft step, then another. Mist curls around them, but the path remains. A small chain of warm stones stretching into whiteness. Each light appears only when Willow reaches it. Nothing ahead is fully revealed. Nothing behind needs to be explained. That is how some journeys must be made, not by seeing the entire way, not by knowing exactly where the end will be, only by finding one warm place for the foot, and then another. Willow's tail taps again. Tap. The bridge answers with gold. The dream, still uncertain, changes into a paper boat. It floats just above the stone, drifting after Willow as if following a current no one else can see. Then it becomes a small white moth, circling the warmth. Then a folded handkerchief. Then a seed carried by wind. But now, with each step, the shapes last a little longer. The dream is remembering how to stay. Willow looks back once. The cat's green eyes are calm in the fog. There is no scolding in them, no disappointment, no surprise that the dream became lost. Willow Town understands that soft things sometimes drift away at night. Thoughts do it. Wishes do it. Even dreams do it, when the mind that holds them grows tired. The important thing is not that they wandered. The important thing is that there is still a light to follow home. Tap. Another stone glows. The little dream comes closer, and together they begin to cross the bridge that seems longer than any bridge should be. One warm step at a time. Together they move through the fog, past lanterns wrapped in white mist, past a stone railing damp with cold droplets, past shadows too soft to recognize. The bridge seems endless tonight. The town behind them has disappeared, and the far side remains hidden. The world beyond the mist feels very far away, as if morning itself is folded and waiting in a drawer. Willow walks slowly. The little dream follows carefully behind. Sometimes it drifts too high, and the mist nearly carries it away. When that happens, Willow stops. The cat does not turn sharply. It does not make the dream feel wrong. It only waits, tail curved like a small orange question mark, until the dream remembers the path of warm stones and settles again. They pass a place where the railing is covered in tiny beads of water. Each bead holds a little light, and each little light holds another bridge inside it. The dream pauses there, fascinated, becoming for a moment a string of glass droplets. Willow waits. The fog breathes. The river murmurs below. Then the dream remembers to follow. They pass a lantern whose flame has become no larger than a seed. It glows inside his cloudy glass, patient and golden. The dream leans toward it and becomes a candle, thin and blue at the center, warm at the edge. Willow taps the next stone. Tap. The path continues. There are sounds in the mist, but none of them are frightening. A rope knocking softly against the side of a boat. Rain beginning far away, not yet falling here. A shudder touching its frame. The low, sleepy sigh of the river as it turns beneath the bridge. Once the dream hears something that sounds like voices. It pauses and trembles, becoming a little folded letter again, as if afraid it has forgotten an important message. But the voices are only the river moving under the arch, speaking in its old water language. The river has no questions for the dream. It does not ask where the dream has been. It only continues passing below, steady and dark and kind. Willow sits down beside the glowing stone. The cat lowers its head until its whiskers almost touch the bridge. The dream settles. Then they continue. The dream listens to each sound, and each sound seems to teach it something. The rope says, "You are still held." The shutter says, "You may close." The river says, "You may move without knowing everything." The lantern says, "Warmth can be small and still be enough." Willow says nothing at all. That is Willow's gift. The cat knows when silence is better than speech. Lost things do not always need directions. Sometimes they need company that does not become impatient when they forget the way twice, or 3 times, or many times. The bridge stretches on, a little farther, a little softer. The mist grows thick again for a while, so thick that even Willow's orange fur looks pale and moonlit. The path of light does not vanish, but it becomes quieter. The stones glow like memories of warmth rather than warmth itself. Still, Willow keeps walking. The little dream keeps following. They do not need the light to be strong. They only need it to remain. Sometimes that is all comfort has to do. Remain. Not fix everything. Not explain the fog. Only remain close enough to follow. The dream changes less often now. It remains, for several steps in the shape of a small bird with folded wings, not flying, not falling, only walking in the air beside Willow, as if the bridge has become a branch and the mist has become a nest. Then, somewhere ahead, the fog grows warmer. Willow lifts its head. The dream grows very still. A light is waiting on the far side of the bridge, not bright, not urgent, only warm and familiar. At last they reach the far side of the bridge. There, beside the canal, stands a small wooden house with one dim lantern glowing beside the window. The lantern's light is low and honey-colored. It does not push against the mist. It simply rests within it, like a quiet hand placed over a tired heart. Willow stops at the garden gate. The gate is wet with fog. A vine curls over it, holding tiny drops of water along its leaves. Beneath the eaves, a wind chime hangs perfectly still. No wind moves tonight. Even the rain is waiting. Inside the house, someone sleeps beneath the blanket. But even in sleep, their brow remains gently furrowed, like someone still carrying confusion into dreams, like someone who has turned a question over and over until the question became too tired to know its own shape. The little dream stops behind Willow. For the first time, it does not change. It stays in one shape, a small, warm light, round at the edges, trembling only a little. Willow looks from the dream to the window. The dream looks too. Through the glass, the room is simple and quiet. A chair beside the bed, a folded shawl over the chair, a book left open on the bedside table, a cup of water catching one faint glimmer from the lantern. The sleeping person turns slightly. Their hand opens on the blanket, then rests again. The dream rises a little higher. Now it remembers. Not all at once, gently. It remembers the room. It remembers the pillow. It remembers the soft darkness behind closed eyes. It remembers that it had not meant to leave. It had only wandered when the night became foggy inside the sleeper's mind. Willow steps aside. The path of light does not go through the door. It does not need to. Dreams have their own small ways of entering. The little dream drifts toward the window, passes through the warm glow of the lantern, and becomes for one breath as clear as a star. Then it slips through the glass without opening it. Inside, the sleeping person sighs. The sigh is so soft that the mist nearly keeps it for itself. The furrow in the brow loosens. The hand on the blanket grows still. The open book no longer seems unfinished. The cup of water no longer catches a worried light. The whole room settles, as if a missing note has returned to a song. Willow sits outside the gate and watches. The dream, now home, becomes no shape at all that anyone could see. It becomes warmth behind the eyelids. It becomes a softer breath. It becomes a small, peaceful story, continuing where it had been interrupted. The lantern beside the window glows once, very gently. Thank you, it seems to say, or perhaps, sleep well. Willow blinks slowly, then the orange cat turns back toward the Misty bridge. The bridge is already shorter than before. Sometimes our thoughts become like lost dreams upon a misty bridge. Too many questions, too many directions, too many little worries turning in circles. We try to force ourselves toward answers. We try to see the whole bridge at once. We try to know the far side before we have taken the next step. But the harder we rush, the thicker the fog can become. Night does not always ask us to solve everything. Sometimes night only asks us to keep moving gently toward warmth. One breath, one soft step, one small light. Willow knows this. The river knows this. Even the old bridge knows this, for it has carried many travelers through the mist, and not all of them had feet. Some were wishes, some were memories, some were dreams too tired to remember where they belonged, and still the bridge held them. Still the lanterns glowed. Still the water moved below, patient and dark, carrying the night without complaint. Willow crosses back toward the bookshop slowly. The mist is lighter now. The stones no longer stretch into endless white. Here and there, the shapes of Willow Town begin to return. The corner of a roof, the curve of a boat, the faint outline of the tea shop sign. The rain finally begins, not heavily, only a soft rain, almost as quiet as mist becoming water again. It touches the bridge, it touches the lanterns, it touches Willow's whiskers. The cat does not hurry. There is no need. The lost dream has found its home, and the town is settling deeper into sleep. Behind one window, a person breathes more peacefully. Beneath the bridge, the river carries tiny circles of rain away into the dark. When Willow reaches the bookshop, the door opens with the smallest sigh. Inside, the books are waiting. The blue teapot is waiting. The cushion beside the window is waiting. Willow steps back into the room, shakes one paw very delicately, and climbs onto the chair. Outside, the mist folds itself around the bridge one last time, not to hide it, but to let it rest. Before Willow fully falls asleep, the cat listens one last time to the town. No lost footsteps cross the bridge now. No dream trembles in the fog. There is only rain on tiles, water beneath stone, and the small settling sounds of houses that have finished being awake. The mist, too, seems sleepy. It lowers itself toward the river, carrying with it the last pale scraps of the night's confusion. If you are lying awake tonight with thoughts moving softly in every direction, you do not have to follow all of them. You do not have to answer every question. You do not have to find the far side of the bridge before morning. You may simply notice the smallest warm light, a the sound of rain. And if one little dream has wandered away, it can come home gently. It can come home without being scolded. It can come home one soft step at a time. The mist can be missed. The bridge can be long. The night can be quiet. And you can rest. You can let the next thought soften before it becomes a question. You can let the next breath arrive without measuring it. You can let the room hold you the way the bridge held the lost dream, without asking you to be anything other than tired and ready to be gentle with yourself. Willow closes one eye, then the other. Outside, the old stone bridge lies peaceful beneath the rain. And somewhere in Willow Town, a dream continues sleeping where it belongs. Follow the warm light. There is no hurry now. Sleep may find its way home, too.